Thank you, everybody, for being here this morning. I know we took a break in July. I'm glad to have everybody back in town. When it's August, that means it's the start of the semester, both at our local schools and our universities. So it's great to have some density back in Columbia and see all the vibrancy in our community. I want to thank the Fireflies, Brad and his team, for having us here again. And what a great venue. Let's give the Fireflies a round of applause. Thank you for having us. And thank you to all of our partners as well. We appreciate what you do for our community, what you do for our chamber. It means a lot. And I want to welcome Matt Littlejohn from MUSC. He's going to give us the change maker message. Thank you.
I've got to agree that it's a pretty hard act to follow an invocation with Daryl Hall and John Oates, all at the same time, but I'm going to do my best. Again, I'm Matt Littlejohn. I'm the division CEO for MUSC Midlands. As I think I mentioned before, I recently came back to the Midlands, but this was my home. I'm from Columbia. And I want to just tell everybody how much I appreciate the welcome back. And everywhere I go, I see friends and people that I grew up with. And it's been a privilege and an honor to be back here in the Midlands. And I was thinking about what to say to this group. And I think that the last 3 months, obviously, I grew up here, spent the first 22 years of my life here, went to South Carolina, and then ultimately came back after 12 years of having to bounce around. That's the thing they don't tell you about hospital administration. You got to move around a lot. But coming back to the Midlands, it's just reminded me of what a great community we have and how lucky we are to live in such a beautiful place. So as you guys go out and think about, what you do in your business every day, and you're welcoming people to our community, just know that from my side of coming back home, it just reminded me of why I wanted to be back here so much. And so I just want to say thank you, and obviously keep doing what you all are doing. You're making a big difference in the community as you go around Columbia coming back. It really is a different place, but the people are what make it wonderful. So again, thank you guys, and let's keep doing that and focused on, growing our community and being proud of it, because I know I certainly am. Thank you.
Good morning. You got to thank you for my class. Thank you. Good morning. Oh, look at that. Sorry, I got a little froggy throat too, and that just sounded like Barry. I love that. How's everybody doing? How is everyone doing? I'll talk slower. There we go. What a treat to be with you. I'm Carl Blackstone with the Chamber, and it is a distinct honor of mine to introduce Dr. Kim Moore, the new superintendent of Richland 2. And we thought this would be a good kickoff. It is back to school month. And as we think about our kids going back, how fortunate we are to get a new leader in this community. And I was privileged enough, thanks to the Richland 2 folks, they invited me to sit on a panel, and I got to listen to all of the 3 candidates, the finalists that came through for this position. And I will tell you, it was after listening to 3, and there were some really nice folks, don't get me wrong, but there was no question who should be leading Richland 2. And we just had an hour together, but it was unreal. Well, I'll let her talk. I don't want to oversell it, right? Sorry, no pressure. But after Dr. Moore was brought on, we thought, what a great way to kick off our August breakfast briefing with a little conversation. So we kept trying to keep it light. I told her no surprises. I'm not really an intense person, so we'll keep it light. And but I thought it'd be a great opportunity for y'all to meet her, and we'll hopefully have time for a couple questions I know you got a busy day. You had a crazy day yesterday. Started off early with school started yesterday, and then you finished with a fun board meeting.
We had a wonderful board
Right.
meeting.
Speaking of which,
We have two
Vice
of our
Chair.
board members with us this morning, our vice chair, Ms. Nash, as well as our secretary, board secretary, Ms. Washington is with us this
Great.
morning.
Thank you all for joining us. Dr. Moore, welcome to the Midlands of South Carolina.
Thank you. I am excited to be here.
I didn't give your bio, but let me just hit the highlights right quick, and then you can fill in whatever you feel like. From Chester, Pennsylvania.
Yes.
I did have to Google that, quite frankly. Okay, but it's right outside of Philly, in between Philly and Wilmington, Delaware.
Yes, if you drive I-95, you will actually drive through the heart of Chester. And if you were to look to the left heading north, you would see the college or the university that I attended.
Awesome. And just so y'all know, she and I would not have hung out in college or in high school. She was a biology and chemistry major, which led her to the U.S. Army, where you worked on a bunch of things, but most notably, what I learned from our interview, NBCs,
Yes. So
nuclear.
that is my expertise in the military. I'm a Army retiree. Hua. I heard a hua. Veterans in the room. Thank you for your service. Military spouses. Military spouses, thank you for your service. A military spouse is worth their weight in gold because they keep the home front safe. So soldiers, airmen, sailors, Marines can go off and do what they are charged to do. And thank you to our military children because you also served. We don't always ask you, and I didn't ask my children. They moved with me when I moved, but that takes a toll on our children. And so we need to recognize the sacrifices that our students make.
So NBCs, nuclear, biological, and chemical weapons.
Yes.
You're an expert in all those fun things.
Yes.
She negotiated on behalf of the U.S. government on those 3 type of weapons, which is pretty incredible. Great experience, right?
It was the best experience.
I mean, if you can negotiate nuclear, biological, and chemical weapons across the world, dealing in a school district's got to be easy, right?
Well, no.
Oh.
What I will say
Maybe not.
though, is that prepared me for the job of being superintendent.
Okay, well said. Well said. So all this time you retired out as a lieutenant colonel,
Yes.
and you said after a great career in the military, let's jump into education.
Yes, after about a brief period of staying at home, we have a blended family of 5 children. And our oldest was going into the 11th grade when I retired from the Pentagon, and moving a 16-year-old girl from her friends to a state that we had been stationed in and she didn't care for. Well, let's say that was a challenging situation. And so I stayed home and made sure that I did the full-time mom thing and got her through high school and off to the University of Florida, and then became a teacher.
I have 4 teenage daughters, so I
You
fully
fully
recognize. Yes, that was a good call, by the way. So you talked about your passion for education.
Yes.
So when you left the Army, did you know then that you wanted to get an education?
No, it was not on my radar at all. Actually, as a part of my retirement, I did transition planning at the Pentagon. That was a service provided by the military. And I had looked at several different opportunity career fields. So I love to shop. So I thought I'll go work for Home Shopping Network and be an online personality, and then I could shop. I did an information interview on that, realized it was a lot more work than what I thought it was going to be, and that wasn't going to be a good fit for me. I also looked at investment banking because I do like to spend money, and I thought I could help people spend their money, and that would give me a sense of fulfillment, but that didn't work out either. And so a friend of mine, we were lieutenants together and had served and were friends from when we both joined the military, had become a teacher. And so he knew I was struggling to figure out where I should go and what I should do. And he said to me, you should be a teacher, Kim, because the jobs that you told me that you loved the most in the military were all around teaching. And that was being a basic training company commander. I was a basic training company commander at Fort McClellan, Alabama, which is the schoolhouse for the Chemical Corps. I was also a platform instructor, and I wrote curriculum at field manuals or curriculum for our military personnel. And I love those jobs. I love teaching soldiers. And while we don't think that the military is teaching, we call it training, but we are teaching soldiers every single day what to do and do it the right way. So when it's needed, they will perform in the right way. And so he talked me into looking at teaching. And after a lot of prayer, I'm a woman of faith, so a lot of prayer and conversations with my husband, I said, I'll try this. My plan originally was to work another maybe 15 years, retire, and then work on my golf game. And I'm still here. So I didn't fulfill my plan.
So back to this home shopping network and this financial planning. So I did ask her if I could share this story. So the day of the interview, I didn't know this until after our little panel interview. We found out you had just come back from a trip when you got a call to interview, and you came back a little bit early?
No, I got the call. So we were on vacation in South Africa on a safari, and I got the call while I was in South Africa. The only day available of the 3 days that were planned was the last day because we were coming back on the middle day. So we got back into Tampa. We arrived in Tampa around 11:30 on the Tuesday. So we went home, emptied one suitcases, packed another suitcase, did some other things that we needed to do, took another plane, came to come to Columbia. But what happened is our plane out of Tampa was delayed. And so as a result of that, we arrived in Atlanta at 10:30. Our flight to Columbia left at 10:25. So we're in the Atlanta airport. My interview is at 7:30 in the morning. The flight Delta rebooked us on, the first flight was 10 a.m. That was not going to work. Now, my husband is a retired Marine and I'm retired Army. So we went into military mode. We had to adapt, overcome, and execute. So we first tried to get our luggage. Couldn't get our luggage because there was no one there to get it out of wherever they put it. We then went and rented a car. So at 12:30 in the morning, the day of my interview, we're getting on the road to drive to Columbia. We arrive at 4 a.m. So I have about 2 hours of sleep in the car because I'm helping to navigate. I have no luggage, only the clothes that I have on. So ladies, I had to go find the 24-hour CVS, so I know where that's at here in downtown Columbia, to find something to do with this. And then it was, what are you going to wear? Because there's no stores open, clothing stores. So we go to the hotel, take a shower, get in the car. We're at Walmart at 6 a.m. when the doors open. I was the first person in the store that morning. Go to the ladies department, couldn't show up in shorts and a t-shirt. So I ended up in the men's department, bought a navy blue man's shirt. So I know what size shirt I wear, men's clothing now. Bought a pair of navy blue pants. So I know what size pants I wear. A 99-cent bandana and a pair of sandals. And that's what I showed up for in my Walmart finest for my interview. But
No joke.
But I say all of that because it actually turned out to be a great teaching point. And I always look for teaching points. Because what it reminded me, and as a person of faith, I always give credit that God puts these things in my path to just remind me. And what it reminded me of is I have the opportunity, the privilege to serve students who do not have the resources that I have. They don't have the luxury of being able to rent a car and to drive somewhere and to do this or to do that. So my responsibility as an educator is to give them the tools that they need so that they can have those options at their disposal. So for me, it was a great teaching point. It was a humbling experience because I had my power suit in that bag. I was ready. And he was like, you don't need that. You need me.
I'm great. And you wouldn't have known she had 2 hours of sleep with those interviews. Am I right? It was unbelievable. So we learned that after the fact. And I was like, holy cow, this is pretty amazing. I would have. Your wisdom is beyond belief. I would have said, this is setting up for a horrible day. What a great thought process you had. So kudos to you. We were blown away. I was like, man, impressive.
Thank you. I feel like at this particular point in my life, I have to be honest and transparent with people of who I am. I can't put on airs. That's just not what great leaders do. And that is my goal, to be a great leader. So what you see is what you get. And that is who I am. And there's only one of me. And it's the same thing I tell students. There's one of you. Be the best version of you, because that's who you were created to be. So you don't have to try to impress other people. You just be you. And if you're the right fit for this particular position, then you will get that position. And if it's not, that means there's another position available for you.
Nice. All right, let's turn to why you decided to take this journey.
That is a great question, Carl. See, I'm leaning up because it's a great question.
I'll put the mic.
When I just decided that I wanted to be a superintendent, sat down with my husband and we put together a list of things that I would be looking for. Where is the best place for me to serve that are aligned with my skill set? So I knew I wanted a suburban urban district. I also have a passion for serving students that look like me in particular, who may have had experiences that I've had. And so I wanted to work in a district that was a majority minority district. I wanted to work in a district that was at least 20,000 students, because I've worked in large districts and that is aligned with my skill set, as well as my skills that I learned through my military experience, because most of my experience was at what we call echelons above corps, where I worked at the Pentagon, I worked at the schoolhouse. I did jobs that were not at the tactical level, but more at the policy level. Being a superintendent means that I get to partner with our board to set policy that creates the conditions for success of our students. Policy lives beyond the leader. That's why it's so important. And that's why I'm committed to working with our board to do that. And so when I looked at Richland 2, it met all of those requirements that I was looking for as to be a superintendent. And so when I had the opportunity to come and interview and to serve in Richland 2, I was very excited because it met the goals that I had set, or the conditions that I wanted to meet. Richland 2 is a great school district, but like every organization, we have our challenges. And so systems as well as policy are the areas that my skill set align. And that is what we are working on in our school district. And I'm blessed to have great partners on our school board that are willing to sit down, talk, and work through those challenges to accomplish those goals.
Awesome. Has your first month met expectations?
It has exceeded expectations.
Good answer.
It's been a blur,
Yeah, yeah.
but it has exceeded expectations.
So we talked about the challenges, or you alluded to every district and every organization had challenges. What would you say are the biggest opportunities that y'all have in Richland too? From with the caveat,
Mhm.
you've had a month,
Yes.
right? You're still in your 30, 60, 90 day. So we get that. But from today's standpoint, what do you think of the biggest opportunities?
Well, I look at every challenge as an opportunity, because that means that's a place that we can come together and work on to improve. So it's always an opportunity. I would say one of our significant opportunities is to, one, ensure that we have met all of the requirements that was in the IG report that our district received. And we are so proud. I am very proud of the work that has been done, because we are at 89% completion in less than a year. And we will complete that, and we will do it ahead of schedule. So that's a great opportunity. And why is that an opportunity? Because as a part of that report, it identified some areas of concern around fiscal accountability, as well as our HR practices, which we are working on to ensure that, one, our fiscal house is in order. The reason that's so important is because our community trusts us with resources as well as with their students. So we need to make sure that they feel that we are doing what we're supposed to do with those resources. So that's why that is so important. And then our HR practices, because that addresses recruitment and retention. We have a national crisis with recruiting and retaining teachers. It's not just a Richland 2, it's not just a South Carolina, it's a national issue. But I believe when you create conditions where people feel like they are welcome, valued, and they feel like they belong, they'll be happy to come and work in that field and work in our district. And so having good business grounded HR practices will help us do that. So that is what we're working on in that relationship to that particular area. The other opportunity for us is to continue to create that safe and caring environment so that students can learn. Because if students come to school and they do not feel safe, they are not going to learn. If our staff and faculty are working in our schools and they don't feel safe, they can't create that condition for our students to be successful. So as you probably saw on the news yesterday, we rolled out our safety screening stations at all of our high schools. And yes, I was that woman taking some Chromebooks and checking backpacks that you might have saw in the video. Because my personal motto is to lead by example. I learned that as a brand new second lieutenant, and it has served me well throughout my career. So ensuring that we create that safe and caring environment is critical to our success.
When I'll get to this one. Hold on. I'm gonna switch gears. We've all seen educational challenges since post-COVID, during COVID and post-COVID. What do you see are the opportunities there? I mean, with one, you got to catch up. Do you feel like the districts or individual schools are able to catch these kids up? Or is this going to be something that's going to be playing out over the next 3 to 4 years? Or what do you think? How is the state of education today relative to COVID?
Well, there is a lagging effect of COVID that we are still working through. But the opportunity here is to look at our educational model and to reinvent it so that we are better meeting the needs of today's students. Our students will have to compete in a global economy. Because of technology, the world is flat. So our students may work for a company based in Columbia, South Carolina, but partner with someone that's in Japan and someone that's in Germany and someone that's in Bahrain. That is the world that we currently live in. So looking at where we're at now, how can we make sure that our students are prepared to compete in a global economy while we're making the adjustments that we need to make to address students' needs? Personal philosophy is we have to break the mold of the 100-year-old factory model of education, because basically we were doing what we have been doing since education was created. We need to change. So we need to be innovative. We need to teach students from a position of project-based learning. The days of memorizing things and performing on a test are over. Our kindergarten students will be in jobs that do not exist today. Think about that. And yes, kindergarten is a long way because there's 12 years, right? Or 13 years for some of those students. But I want you to think about our ninth graders. Our ninth graders will have jobs that do not exist today. So how do we ensure that they are ready to leave us and to come work for you and do what you need them to do, which is to critically think, to problem solve, to be able to data mine and collect information in a correct way. These are critical things. And most importantly, they have to know how to communicate. So you're going to see a shift in education, especially in Richland 2, around how we are preparing your students for life beyond high school. So our focus is we are purpose-driven so that we ensure our students are future ready.
I hope y'all wrote that down. That was a phenomenal answer. Truly, as Mr. Littlejohn would recognize the need for healthcare workers in today, and you need those critical thinking jobs. Our good friends at Scout are here, who are our newest neighbor, who are looking to fill thousands of jobs in your backyard. So those skill sets are so necessary for not just those fields, but for everybody today. So thank you for that. I think that's a good takeaway for giving y'all a hint. That was an excellent answer, by the way. So we got the COVID behind us. We've got technology upgrades. What do you think is the best asset of the district as it relates? Is it the flexibility that y'all have from magnet schools to technology centers? What do you think, in your first 30-day assessment, what do you think y'all have in Richland 2 that you think could be the gem?
Well, you're right. We have world-class magnet programs, nationally certified, nationally recognized. We have a wonderful partnership with Fort Jackson because 1 out of 5 military children in the state of South Carolina attend Richland School District. They're a very important partnership. We have a great community that supports us. We have wonderful, brilliant students. But I believe the best thing in Richland 2 are our people, because it's our staff that make it happen every day. It's the teacher in the classroom that creates the magic of learning. It's the secretary that greets our parents, our community members at the front door. And sometimes people are not always pleasant to them, but they still have a smile on their face. They still try to help. It is the people that come to work every single day to educate our children when they're not always appreciated for the work that they do, but they still show up every day. Do they get paid what they're worth? No, they do not. And that's something that we'll be working on to address, but they still come because they believe that education is important and they believe in our students.
Speaking of students, you've been speaking to a lot of them lately. What do you want them to know about you? I mean, you are a mother, a grandmother, a retired lieutenant colonel, a teacher, and a superintendent. What do you want them to know? What should they know about you more than anything?
What they should know about me is that I care about them and I want what's best for them. I didn't go into education because I would get rich. Education is hard work. It's hard work. And to me, it's very much like serving in the military. And I believe service, I believe as a nation, we've kind of lost our way with service, and not just the military. We have great county employees. We all want the services that the county provides to us or that our city provides to us. But yet we don't want to have our children go into those fields. Well, then who's going to provide those services? Right? So to me, we have to get back to understanding that we are all in this work together. So becoming a teacher, becoming an educator, as I said, is hard work. What I want our students to know is I care about them and I want what's best for them. And that doesn't always mean that they're going to like what we do. As a mother of 5, my children were not always happy with me. My grandchildren love me because I send them home after I do what they want to do, and their parents don't want that. But that's what the pleasure of being a grandparent is, right? But as a parent, there was tough love. So everyone in the district has heard me say this already. I believe in accountability. I hold people accountable for what they are hired to do. And I don't mean to sound cold or harsh or come across as being negative, but I believe in being clear, because to me, clarity is kindness. So I tell people up front, what are my expectations? So we are accountable. That means we do our job. And if I have to do someone's job, then I don't need that person in the job. I need somebody else. And I've made that very clear, because our first priority has to be our students. So I want my students to understand, first and foremost, I care about you. Here's my responsibility to you. My responsibility is to prepare you to compete in a global economy. My responsibility to you is to ensure that we create the conditions for you to be successful. My responsibility to you is to help you achieve your goals, whatever those goals are. That's what I want our students to know. And that's the message I conveyed to them in my interview, because I did interview with a panel of students. And I will tell you, these students asked the toughest questions out of every panel that I interviewed with. And I think I met with 10 or 12 different groups of people that day. The students had the most difficult questions, and they wrote their own questions. One of the things that I've learned through my career, but also my husband's career, because he's in manufacturing, is that the person that is closest to the problem normally has the solution. So if we want to know what our students want, what our students need, how do they feel that we can improve, we have to go to our students and ask them the questions. They will tell you the truth. We may not like it, we may not want to hear it, but they will tell us the truth. I'll give you an example. On my interview panel, when they finished their questions, I asked them a question. And the question I asked them is, what is it that you feel like you need that you did not receive? And what they told me was they thought they got a great education, but they weren't sure that they were ready to leave high school and go out on their own. They didn't feel like they had enough financial information to make those decisions and some of the life skills necessary. And I believe that's something we have to look at in partnership with our parents, because our parents are the first teachers, and they would be the ones that would be supporting their students with those life skills. But our students felt like they didn't have that, and they weren't really sure as they get ready to leave that they were going to be successful in that area. They felt very confident that they could perform academically at the colleges they were going to or the jobs they were going to be taken, but they weren't sure about living life beyond going to class.
Wow. Well, I think the students are lucky to have you.
Well, I'm lucky to have them.
Yeah.
I am truly blessed.
I've asked plenty of questions. Anybody got one in the audience that wants to ask a question? Mr. Harvey.
Thanks, Dr. Moore, for being here, and thanks for your military service and coming to our district. I'm a business owner here in the community and an Army veteran as well. And a
Thank you for
champion.
your service.
Thank you as well. And a champion for small businesses. And so my question is coming from the place, how does the district use small businesses or business owners to be able to support the education and our students as you take on this new role? I don't feel like we've leveraged the small business enough in our community. How would you address leveraging more of us that's in the community to support you as small business owners?
Thank you for that question, because I'm a very big advocate for partnerships with our community. It's something that I did in my previous role in my district that I was in. In fact, I was sharing with Carl, one of my partners was Bill Cronin. Some of you may know him. He was here for 10 years in South Carolina, and he's the president of the Economic Development Council in Pasco County. So how do we do that? First and foremost, it's coming to events like this so we can talk and connect and meet with each other. Then it's making sure that we get you connected with our director of partnerships, and that is Maria Owens. Stand up, Miss Maria. Because she can be your connection to the district. Of course, we have to follow state requirements. So we have processes, procurement processes in place that we would need you to follow. So you have to become a vendor, an approved vendor, and you have to follow the requirements that are in place. But we are always looking for partners that will be able to support us. That's if you want to do official business. But in addition to that, there are great opportunities for you to partner with our local schools. So please feel free to talk to Maria about that. We love having people who are actually doing the work come in and talk to our students about what does it mean to do this. So I'm currently working with one of the news stations. I'm not going to say which one, but I did an interview with them and I met the news director. And what I said to her is, I noticed that you have a person working the camera who's really hired to do marketing, but he's helping out because you're short of staff. How would you like to have free labor? Notice the word free labor that will come in and help you and learn this business. We have a nationally recognized media program at one of our high schools, nationally recognized. The first person to greet me after I was appointed by the board was a student who wanted my interview from this program. So we are going to partner and work together. We got to work out the details, but that's going to give our students the opportunity to have an internship, do some job shadowing in the career field that they feel they want to pursue while they're still in high school. It's a win for our students. It's a win for the district, but most importantly, it's a win for the organization, the business that they're going to work in, because now they can grow their own. These are the kind of relationships that we need to create in this area so that we are ensuring that our students are ready to walk out and be the employees that you need. My last position, Moffitt Cancer Center, you may not have heard it, but they are a national cancer center. I built a brand new high school that's opening this year, right across the street from their brand new 900-acre campus that they're building. Campus is not there yet. All they have is construction. But we had a partnership already with them that says our students are going to go across the street, work with their information technology people, because we had cybersecurity. Our engineering students were going to go across the street to work with them. Our 11th and 12th graders were going to go across the street and take college level courses taught by their interns. That's the type of relationship that we can build here.
Awesome. So quick question, coming from Pasco County to Richland County, does that mean you're a huge fan of live PD on patrol?
I have not seen one episode
Whoa, don't say that again now.
of live
The
PD.
sheriff would not find that amusing.
But a very good friend of mine and who was my coach, because I believe in preparing. So I had a coach that helped me prepare for my opportunities as a superintendent. She watches that program and she was telling me all about it. And I was like, oh, okay. So one of the first people that I met was Sheriff Lott. He was on my calendar for the second day I was on the job. And I was appointed on a Tuesday night of the last week of June, and I started on July 3rd. So went home, packed up some bags in the car and came back that weekend. So met with Sheriff Lott and I asked him the question. I said, oh, so I understand that you are on this TV show. Tell me about the crime rate in this area. He goes, oh, crime rate is not bad here. And then shifted the conversation to something else. But that's Sheriff. And we're blessed to have a good partnership with him though.
There, he is terrific, but they are in both counties, so it just humors me a little bit. All right. I do want to echo the partnership though on the apprenticeships and working and getting students out is so important. So we've had a Midlands Youth Apprenticeship Program. It was great. Maria has been a huge part of that. COVID licked it pretty good because we couldn't get students in, but we hope to push that back up this year. So thank you all for that partnership. All right. Anybody else got some questions out there? All the way in the back, Terry, is that Terry? You got the glare behind you. It looks like a halo. Hey, hold on. We can't hear a thing.
Hello, Dr. Moore. I was just curious what your plan might be to help encourage getting more parent involvement back in the schools.
Great question, Terry. So one of the major tools that we have been pushing out for our parents is using Parent Square. That is our primary vehicle. It's an app that we communicate with our parents. So we want parents to download that app because that app is going to give you real-time information as well as information that is impacting your schools. How do I help parents understand the importance of staying connected with their students and staying connected with our schools? It's being very visible in the community. So most of you probably recognize me when I came in today because my face has been everywhere, literally everywhere. The only place that hasn't been on is a billboard on Two Notch Road. And they threatened to do that. And so everywhere that I go, parents are stopping me. Lately, I've been making a daily run to Walmart on my way to my temporary housing. And it's not uncommon that somebody will stop me in Walmart and say, are you the new superintendent? And I'm like, yes, ma'am, I am. And they're like, thank you and welcome. And I talk to them about, well, please remember, we need your support. We need you to be a partner with us. I had the opportunity to attend two different churches on Sunday for their back to school events. And I talked to the parents again about being connected to their children and staying connected with the schools. We want our parents to be active participants in their students' education because first and foremost, they are the first educators. Second of all, research is very clear. When a student has their parent involved, the chances of them graduating goes up 60%, which is significant. So parents, every parent that's out here, please stay connected with your children's school. What I have seen over my years in education is when your children are in elementary, you're so excited. You walk them to school, you come in, you work with the principal and the teachers, and you're very active. You get to middle school, you're still very active. When you come to high school, you start to take your hands off. That is the wrong strategy. I'm just being very transparent with you. I was a high school principal. That is not the time to take your foot off the gas. It is time for you to push down a little harder. Remember, your student is going to want more freedom, but that is a privilege for them to have that, and they must earn it. So please, 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 I implore you to stay involved in your students' life. What I used to tell my parents as a high school principal in orientation with their students sitting there is everything your child asks you to do out of school is a privilege. It is not a right for them to do. It's not a right to drive a car. It's a privilege. It's not a right to go to the movies on Saturday night. It's a privilege. It's not a right to play this sport. It's a privilege. So make that privilege connected to their responsibilities, because that GPA counts in high school. It counts. And if they start off with a low GPA, it will take them 4 years to pull it up to be just minimum. But if they start off with a great GPA, it's harder to pull it down. Have them earn those rights because it teaches them responsibility. It teaches them accountability. And these are skill sets that you want as employers, but it's also skill sets that they need to be successful in life. So we need you. We want you to be involved. And please, please, please do that. Did I answer your question?
On that note, we're going to end it there because you won't believe this. She's got a couple of things to do today. And so she's got to cut out. But I want, on behalf of the chamber, thank you for spending this morning with us. We really, really appreciate you. Thank you for coming to Columbia. We welcome you. We're glad you're here. But more importantly, if there's something coming up, if we need to help out, please let us know.
Thank you. So I do have one thing
Yep.
that an initiative that we're going to be looking at partnering with the community around, and that is early childhood literacy. Why is that so important? Because once again, research shows that if students come in kindergarten ready, the chances of them graduating goes up significantly. So what I would like to do, and my board members are looking at me because I haven't told them this yet, but they're going to love it because I know what they're interested in. I know they're passionate about this. I believe that every child that is born in Richland School District should receive a nice little gift bag from our school district. Now, what's going to be in that gift bag? They should receive a little t-shirt that says future graduate of Richland School District. There should be a book in there because reading is fundamental and parents need to read, even if it's the same book, start reading to their child before the child is born. Every day, read to the child. So it should be a book in there, but also we want to have like a nice little family guide for the parent that says, you know, when your child is at this particular age group, this is what you should expect. And if this is where, you know, how we as a district can partner with them. We want parents to understand that Richland 2 is the best place for their children to be in school. We believe we should be their first choice because we're their best choice. And that starts when that child is conceived, hopefully they're reading, but also when the child is born. So I would love to partner with the chamber around providing that to our brand new youngest Richland 2 students.
Let's
Early
chat.
childhood
I'm good.
literacy.
Let's do it.
All right.
Thank you
Thank
again
you.
for your time. We really appreciate it. All right, y'all hold tight for a second. Ashley's coming up and we'll take over from here. Thank y'all again for being here. We want to also thank the Fireflies for having us today. We really appreciate it.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Ashley, Vice President of Development with the Columbia Chamber. I'm going to invite up Janet with FSI Office.
Thank you, Ashley. Good morning, everyone. What a crowd. Summer's over and we're getting back in business, right? So it's good to see everybody here. And I thoroughly enjoyed Dr. Moore. I know you did too. You won't believe it, but we really did not coordinate what we were going to be talking about today. I didn't know she was going to be here, but I'm Janet Blanford with FSI Office. I've come to a few of your events and I always want to know who my audience is. How many of you know us, know FSI? It's never enough. It's never enough. But FSI Office is an office supply and furniture dealer headquartered in Charlotte, but with a huge presence here in Columbia. We've been here for decades. And I'm here today very briefly to tell you about a program that Dr. Moore will love. And I wish that she could hang around, but she had a hard got to get out of here. But it's called Teacher All-Stars. We love our educators too. And for the 14th season, we are going to be kicking off on August the 28th, our Teacher Rewards Program. We've always called it Teacher of the Week. In the past, for those that knew us and had seen our website, you were used to seeing Teacher of the Week. This year, we've changed the name in our 14th season to Teacher All-Stars. And how appropriate, we're sitting here at a baseball stadium and I'm talking about Teacher All-Stars. But we're going to be changing it up a little bit and that it's going to last all year, starting August 28th for the entire school year. Every month, we're going to be recognizing our favorite teachers. How many of you know a teacher? Look at that. You know them way better than you know me. So teachers, most of us have our neighbor is a teacher, our kids are in school, our spouse is a teacher. What we know is the same thing Dr. Moore just told you. They're not paid enough. They're underappreciated, underloved, undercelebrated. But for 14 seasons now, starting this year, we are celebrating them. And every month you will have an opportunity to come to our website and nominate your favorite teacher. Doesn't matter how you know them, but you're gonna have to write a little bit of an essay. Tell us why you think they're so good. And we have a committee every month that will read over those nominations and pick their favorite 10. If your teacher makes it to the favorite 10 for the month, we go see them with a prize pack of supplies for their classroom that now they don't have to go buy on their own. And then for a month, they're going to be listed as a top 10 potential winner every month. And now teacher gets skin in the game and we tell them they need to get people to come to our website and vote for them if they made it to the top 10. So the school gets behind them, mom and dads get behind them, all their friends and neighbors, they put it all over their social media. And at the end of the month, whichever teacher gets the most votes will win for the month. And if that teacher wins, we get to go back to the school and take them a huge prize pack full of supplies for their classroom, a case of copy paper that they've been begging mom and dad to bring to them all year long. And they will also then be invited to, at the end of the season, if they were our monthly winner, they will come and we're going to be in Charlotte at our baseball stadium, which isn't nearly as pretty as yours, but the Charlotte Knights Stadium. And they will come in and all their guests will come. And in that event, we will name the teacher of the year. If they make it to teacher of the year, they will win $5,000 worth of office supplies and classroom supplies and furniture for their school. That's pretty good, right? In addition to that, one of our sponsors, Han, which is a furniture manufacturer, is donating a classroom full of furniture to the teacher who wins. That's a big deal. So if you know a teacher, on our back table, I've got some goodies back there, not just flyers. There's some fun things you'll want to take home with you today. Stop by my table in that back corner to get you one of these little goodie bags, and you'll see information in there about our Teacher All-Star program. Also, you will see information about paper calendars because we're all using our phones today, but you'd be surprised how many people still use paper calendars, and it's calendar season. So I got you one of those in there. And if you don't know who we are, also included a brochure about who FSI Office is in our 61st year. If you don't know us, shame on us. We should have told you about us by now. I'm here with Donald McLean. Donald, if you'll stand quickly, and I'm going to be, my time's wrapping up. Donald is our local account manager here in Columbia. If you don't know him, I bet you're going to soon. You better. So anyway, thank you so much, Ashley, for giving me a second of the agenda. I know you enjoyed Dr. Moore and you've got things to do, get back to business, but FSI really appreciates the opportunity to be here and introduce ourselves better to you. So thank you. Have a great day.
Thank you, Janet. FSI is so great to work with. Their family-owned business focuses on a service first approach, and it makes all of the difference in the world. The chamber has grown substantially in new partners in the last 2 years, and I would like to take a moment just to introduce a couple of new partners that are here in the room today. If I call your business name, if you'll stand up and let us celebrate you. Healthy Learners, Homewood Suites, Primerica, and Rumsey Construction. If you see these folks on your way out the door, please offer them a warm chamber welcome. Thank you. Our Diplomat Link program provides outreach with our partner businesses throughout the year. This invaluable tool not only helps the chamber, but it helps diplomats grow in their own business by making connections and building relationships. Our diplomats are incentivized by earning points for events that they attend and for touch points that they make throughout the year. And so our Diplomat of the Quarter is awarded to the diplomat who has accrued the most points. And for April, May, June, Maggie Mondragon with iHeartMedia is our Partner of the Quarter. Maggie, if you'd like to come up so we can celebrate you. There she is. We also want to celebrate our partner of the month, which is chosen internally to spotlight the Chamber's partners who have shown great efforts in assisting the Chamber's mission to create and promote an environment where businesses can flourish in the region. Hall's Chop House opened in Columbia in 2018. One thing the Chamber and Halls have in common is service. Service before self, as Mr. Hall said. We appreciate Hall's partnership and enjoy the friendly faces we see every time we walk in the door. They're unable to be here today, but we are going to have a partner engagement with them in September. We'd love for all of you to be there. That's our partner engagements are after hours events throughout the month. Okay, I have a few more housekeeping announcements. We will be having we'll be celebrating our 120th Diamond Gala, October 5th. We hope that y'all will be here. Hillary Bell, over here in the corner. She is happy to help you if you need tickets or sponsorships. We are also hosting our sporting clay tournament November 16th. If you don't know how to shoot, no problem. We're hosting clinics. We'll teach you. We have shooting pros that will teach you how to shoot, and we actually have one next Wednesday, the 16th. Our August partner engagement after hours event is next Thursday at Encompass Health. Naomi with our MMBA program asked me to let you all know that applications are open for the 2024 Midlands Minority Business Accelerator cohort. I had to write that down. MMBA aims to reduce economic disparities for minority-owned businesses through strategic growth plans and access to resources. Applications are on the Chamber website and they close October 13th. Back by popular demand, Coffee with Carl. Woohoo! We are kicking this back up this Friday. If you haven't received a link, it's for partners only. It's an insiders meeting, and he would love to have coffee with you virtually this Friday.